Okay. Well, I grew up here in Jackson. I was born in Meridian and finished at Jackson Prep. And after I graduated, I went on to Ole Miss, and really in the beginning thought that I would go into the securities market, be a stockbroker or trader or something like that. And I guess kind of a life or a path defining moment was I had an opportunity to be an intern for Senator Cochran from my junior to senior year that summer, and I went up to D.C., had a great time, and but still came back thinking I would go do this other. And kind of at the last minute in my senior year, I decided to move to D.C. Just because I had spent my entire life in the Deep South, and I thought, well, I'll move up there and just live in another part of the country for a few years. And I thought I'd be there 2 or 3 years, and 2 or 3 years turned into 10 years, and I met my wife there, who's from Greenville, as we were talking about, and we had our first child there. And I worked for Thad for 3 years, and about 3.5 total. I did a presidential campaign before and a presidential campaign after. I was in '88 and '92. I went back to Thad's office after that '92 campaign and was there for a few more months, and then went to work for the Cellular Telecommunications Industry Association, CTIA. They represented the wireless industry. And at the time, that was when cellular technology was really just kind of starting to take off. It was still really, though, pretty much a business product. Your average consumer didn't have it. As a matter of fact, the staff at the association didn't even have cell phones at the time, just the senior level folks. And so I was there for a year and worked with a lot of our small carriers. That was my charge. And the story I like to tell about that was one of my first meetings I went to was at O'Hare Airport, and they had small carriers come in from around the country to meet at O'Hare to talk about some of their issues. And as we're going around the table, people are introducing themselves. We get about halfway down one side of the room, and this guy says, "I'm Hugh Mina from Jackson, Mississippi." And I was just absolutely stunned, being a Jacksonian, to have another Jacksonian in the room. And then we went on around the room, and I'm Stacy Davidson from Jackson, Mississippi. So then we get on around to me, and I said, "I'm Mayo Flynt from Jackson, Mississippi." At which point, all these other guys in the room are going, "What's going on here?" So anyway, so I worked at CTIA for about a year, and then there was an opportunity to go work for Bell South in their Washington, D.C. office, and that was 16 years ago, and I was very interested in doing that. My dad worked for Bell South for over 30 years, and so I guess for a lot of people, if you work in a trade association and you're interested in the industry and you kind of care about it, you probably want to end up in one of the companies that you represent, and I certainly wanted to do that. And since I grew up in the South, I really wanted to work for Bell South as opposed to Verizon or Ameritech or any of those other companies, because I thought maybe it would eventually lead me back to the South, and it did.